So yeah, let's start getting into the transfer news and things like that, people. The first thing I want to look at is apparently David Ornstein's been talking on his column, people, about Arsenal, whatever that means. So let's see where that is found. Arsenal set to announce World Cup friendly dates and squad involved. Trying to scroll the way down. Apparently, after the trip to Wolves on Saturday, the members of Mikel Arteta's squad not playing in Qatar are set to be granted about 10 days off and then will return to training in London. They intend to travel to Dubai on the 4th of December for warm weather camp, during which exhibition matches will likely be staged with Lyon on December the 8th. So we get to see Lacazette and AC Milan 5 days later. It is expected the round-robin format will also feature Liverpool, but the English sides are not expected to meet. Arsenal are due to fly home on December the 14th and may stage a third game at the Emirates Stadium. Opponent in front of supporters. Contracts for the Dubai competition are close to being signed, and confirmation is anticipated in the next week, which will offer further information and ticketing details for those who want to attend. So that was on The Athletic. Going away from Safari and going back over here, people. The first thing I want to look at is this first, people. Now, this is a journalist based in England who covers the Brazil stuff, people, on behalf of Arsenal. If this will move, translate tweet. Arsenal winning big games is in for the title in the earnest. I have information that the club wants to take advantage of the moment and will inject money to reinforce the squad well in January to be able to compete until the end. In the same way they surprised us with the start of the season, I hope they surprise us with what they do in the market in January. But again, we can't just make assumptions. That doesn't mean you're going to spend big money on big players and do big things. Right now, we just need to spend the right money. I don't care if a player costs £2 or 200 million or 20 million. Just make sure they're the right players in it. But it would do us a lot, because for me, the thing that would encourage me the best would be telling me we're learning up from our mistakes of last season, in that, Spurs got a boost with Bentancur and Kulusevski. We kind of disadvantaged ourselves with not doing certain things in the market. So hopefully we do what we're doing in it. So hopefully this means such. Big up Renato. If we go back, people, he said ESPN Brazil have said, I have information that Arsenal want to keep the good momentum and the owners will inject money to sign players in Jan. I mean, you inject players, you make signings, you inject players, it makes top four a bigger of a boost. And for the fans, we're happy. There's more money for participating in the group stages than actually winning Europa League. So indirectly, if that's all Kroenke wants, fair enough. This guy has probably said he's a very good, Renato has said that João Castelo Branco is a very good source, by the way. Brazilian journalist based in London. He covers Arsenal in Brazil, has close ties with the club. I reckon links with Palmeiras, Danilo will speed up in the next days. His club have been crowned champions again, and in like clockwork, that has actually been what has been happening, people. We'll get into Mikel Arteta's press conference in a bit, people. Potter said Aubameyang's been very respectful. Who cares if you're disrespectful or respectful? You chatted off your mouth. If you're going to talk and do them sort of things, make sure you have more than 4 touches in one half and 8 touches in your 60th minutes, and you don't get hooked. People, there was rumors that he put a Spider-Man mask near the goals. Lol. Anyways, away from all of that, people, we've seen all this warm weather stuff as well. So, yeah, I will come back over there. Apparently, Arsenal eyeing 26.5 rated Victoria Guimaraes star Ibrahima Bamba. I think he's a young Italian lad. From what you can see available, he looks quite decent, but I don't have an informed opinion. He's an FM wonder kid as well. With Mikel Arteta looking to add a defensive midfielder to his squad in Jan, is this someone we're just keeping tabs on? Is this a contingency plan to Danilo? Is this in addition to Danilo? Because if we're honest with ourselves, big up El Nene, should probably be 2 6s that come in. One that phases out El Nene, one that can challenge Partey or be used instead of Partey. And I would like 2 8s as well. But he's 20 years of age. He's attracting interest. Arsenal want to be kept updated should he be allowed to leave, people. He's not expected to leave in January. Apparently, he's featured in all 12 of their league games. He's drawing interest from Villarreal and Atalanta, people. According to the Daily Mirror, the Portuguese club have been informed that the Gunners want to be kept update on the player should he be allowed to leave. He's valued at around 26.5 million and has been watched by our club scouts. He is not expected to leave in Jan, but there's a feeling that the right offer could change that. He joined in 2020. He was born in Italy and he's of Ivorian descent, and he was recently called up to train with the Italian squad, and obviously the gaffer Roberto Mancini. Arsenal confident of sealing January transfer as Gunners seek Gabby Martinelli repeat, whatever this means. Arsenal are confident of signing Palmeiras midfielder Danilo in January. According to reports, the Gunners are claimed to be close to agreeing a deal for the 21-year-old. Arsenal, as you know, we were interested towards the end of the summer. It didn't work between that and Douglas Luiz. Palmeiras were confirmed as the champions of the Brazilian Serie A last week, and the season will end on Sunday. And that looks set to give Arsenal the chance to get a deal for Danilo over the line. And we did hear in the summer they're more likely to sell him in January. Apparently, Brazilian outfit, whatever that says, claims the deal is getting close between the two clubs. The Premier League leaders believe the transfer is in a good position to be finalized in January. If Danilo were to join Arsenal, it'd almost be a repeat of a deal which saw Martinelli join in 2019, completely different. And he's got over 100 appearances. He would have come from a team that's won a league title and got to a final of the World Cup, Club Cup. So there's a lot of things. I wouldn't expect him necessarily to hit the ground running in January, especially because his season, he'd have a couple of weeks off, but we need midfielders. Apparently, they've already lined up replacements for him as well. So hopefully that's the thing, people. Apparently, Arteta wanted a midfielder. Douglas Luiz and Danilo didn't work. His contract doesn't expire until 2026. So they're in a fantastic negotiating position. Arsenal are also interested in signing a winger in Jan. And as you know, Facundo Torres is the latest wide man to be linked, people, with us. So we'll have to see how that one day develops, folks. Is there any new news here before we look over? As you can see here, allegedly, Palmeiras need to sell at least one player due to financial constraints. Decision was made at a board meeting last week. One of the targets being considered for sale is Danilo, who's being coveted by Arsenal. And apparently, this might be the same journalist who broke Jesus to Arsenal and also our interest, allegedly, in Paqueta, people. So hopefully this means we get our man. Tomiyasu's been named in the World Cup squad for Japan. And apparently the Japanese coach has said Tomiyasu can start training before the World Cup and go the competition in good condition. So that's decent. Apparently, Fabrizio Romano has said Saka, Martinelli, Saliba are tempted by the Arsenal project and would like to continue. Arsenal are very optimistic about Saliba extending. Gabriel was approached by Juventus and another club, but he wanted to continue at Arsenal. We're optimistic around Gabby Martinelli. I can't find it, but apparently there's serious consideration being given by Saliba to sign a new deal as well. In that regards, what have you said as well, Zinchenko, which we'll get over that. As you heard, Mikel Arteta did want to sign Yuri Telemans in the summer, and apparently he wants him in Jan. And we all saw the great goal he scored. Lovely goal, Wayne Rooney-esque, really. In the latest Leicester game, and I don't think they'll let him go in Jan. I think unless you're prepared to pay more than you might deem a player with 6 months on his deal is worth. But yeah, he's doing well. He's going to go into the World Cup in a best capacity. Hopefully, we get him in the summer. Really, Mikel Arteta has requested Arsenal to sign Telemans in January, according to reports, and are trying to tempt Leicester to cash in. He's out of contract. You know, Leicester are kind of getting their season back on, but they're going to probably need to keep him. Probably will keep him, according to reporter Manuel Moreira. He is finally going to push for a move for Telemans, but it's understood Leicester retain hope he'll put pen to paper with the Foxes and extend his stay in the Midlands. I mean, Douglas Luiz did, and they've been linked with Enzo Lafay and also Aouar as well, people. So doesn't seem like there's anything tangible, really. You know, Yuri Telemans has been training fantastically and all them things like Brendan Rodgers says. He's going to keep saying that. They obviously want to keep him, but at some point, they're going to have to keep him moving, people. We've already announced this and spoke about that. I don't know, pardon me, what this means, but United, Liverpool and Arsenal may have chance to sign next Jude Bellingham for cheaper. Any BS, I'm locking off this article, people. What is being said here? Mokoko, apparently his contract is running down. I'll take him at the carpet. I don't think we've been linked, people. Apparently, Mokoko's contract expires at the end of the season, and his entourage is reportedly showing resistance in persuading him to commit his future to the club. Boy, and I mean, him and Adeyemi FC, bring them both, man. Bring them both. He's finally sharing his quality. Bring them both to the carpet if you can. That was already in relation to Tomiyasu, people. So, yeah, we've already said that. I won't bore you with that. La Liga start open to making Arsenal return on his transfer verdict is possible. Yunus Musa, to be honest with you, I think you'd be in the first team like Bukayo Saka. I remember when you and Miguel Aziz were playing as schoolboys. Miguel Aziz ain't quite there at the moment, but is what it is. He admits he would return to Arsenal in the future. However, he insists he's happy at the La Liga club. You know, again, they offered him a project, and you've got to do what makes you better because you're now an American international and playing week in, week out in a top 5 league. So I can't begrudge it. He said, you never know. Is that it? I had a great time at Arsenal developing there. I still have friends there. The coaches were great. Being an Arsenal player in general is great. I loved playing for Arsenal. I've got nothing against the club. And if one day it turns out to be that it's time to go back, then it's possible. For now, I'm really happy at Valencia, and I'm looking forward to carrying the season on the same way we're doing now. Apparently, Arsenal are one of the clubs tracking his progress, as well as Liverpool. He's got an £87 million release clause. I can't see us doing that. And he's set to feature at the forthcoming World Cup, man. It was heartbreaking when he left, man. So keep doing your thing. Wish you all the best, man, in that regards. So we'll have to see what's being said there. Well, that's in relation to Nuno Tavares, who hasn't been playing necessarily well. Let's spin the block for Arsenal as well, people. Not the last 24 hours. What about the last recent hours? No one cares what Chris Sutton, Rio Ferdinand, Gary Neville have to say about Arsenal Football Club. What is this? What is that? Mikel Arteta teases his new role. What is this? Big up Tommy Yasu. As you can see, he's been named in that. We'll get into the other stuff in a second, people. We'll leave that for a sec. Where's all the other articles I just copied and, well, opened? Really considering Arsenal now very optimistic. 21-year-old star will sign a new contract soon. It's not over till the fat lady sings. And every performance you put in along with all of them going into a World Cup, which I don't expect you to start week in, week out for France, but you've got to go, really, you know. It's good for Arsenal Football Club. He's got a lot to work in. He's got a lot of gears to go up, but we will get there. 140 likes, over 200 of you locked in on YouTube. Smash the like button. Can we get to 200? Unexpected high bills if you ain't hit that like button. But yeah, he said he could join Gabriel, his centre-back partner, in signing a new deal. Speaking about contracts, I can tell you that for William Saliba, that there's a proposal on the table, and Saliba is really considering this proposal. There are conversations ongoing. Arsenal are really optimistic, but a decision is to go really strong on these new contracts in the next weeks and months. If Arsenal can give new contracts to Saliba, Saka, Martinelli, then it would be as important to the club as new signings. Fair enough, and I agree as well. Mikel Arteta teases new Martinelli Arsenal role. Unless it's playing up front, I don't know about any of that personally. I'm not too sure on any of that personally. Big up all of you lot tuned in, folks. But let's see what has been said here. Martinelli's missed out there. Where is it? Apparently, if the suggestions from Arsenal's social video last season is to be believed, then Martinelli could well be in for a chance of transitioning into a forward role, which he was always destined for. And the fact that he's taking the necessary steps to becoming the right fit. I mean, he could probably be better than Eddie there, but we've probably been done there by just some nonsense, 2 and 2 and getting $1 million. Arsenal still interested in signing frightening attacker, but there's a problem, says Fabrizio Romano. Apparently, Shakhtar Donetsk have significantly upped their asking price for the 21-year-old. He might very well be in the future. I don't currently think he's worth what they're asking. We know they wanted a winger. Rafinha was the dream, but then it was not possible to proceed. They had very positive contacts on Mudrik's side, but then they decided not to proceed with Shakhtar because they wanted more than 40 to 45 million. Now Shakhtar wants more than 60 to 65 million, I'm told. So it's not going to be easy, but Arsenal are still following the player. They consider Mudryk a top talent, and so Arsenal are still there. Let's see, because now the race is open with many clubs involved, but Arsenal will be busy in the next weeks and months. And I think when he's shaky in Champions League, no one says a word, but when he does a Mazda, it is. And I'm not belittling him. He's clearly not the finished article, but he's got a lot of things that he can bring to the table. Tomiyasu has been named in the Japan's World Cup squad, as stated already, folks. So it is what it is where the transfer news is concerned. What are